Me.
Hey guys, Samia the Nerd here, and today I wrote some fan fiction. Wait, that's not right. Oh, I rewrote Strange World, which is basically fan fiction anyway, if you really want to think about it. Okay, so hello. It is 2026, and I started writing this video in 2023. I kind of forgot about it. It got put on the back burner, but I thought I'd revisit this because this is a series I've been thinking about for a couple of years. So I will be jumping in from my past self versus now because I have a lot to say then and I have a lot to say now. I know this video is long, but just bear with me here. I just want to do a quick disclaimer. I'm in no way saying that people did not work hard on the movie or did not pour their heart and soul in this movie. I know there's individual faces around it. I'm not here calling any individual out because I know at the end of the day everyone worked hard for years on this specific movie. I still think that there could have been things that, could have made the movie better, more entertaining, or just more noticeable. And I feel like anyone, including myself, can improve in storytelling. There is no perfect story. So these are just my opinions. You can feel free to disagree. You can make your own edits, or you can love the movie the exact same way it was. I do not think the movie is awful. I don't even think it's bad. Upon rewatching it, I was like, it's not that bad. But there are still things I would rewrite. I have worse movies in mind for this series. Some worse ones for sure, but I wanted to start off with Strange World because I feel like the problems are very surface level, and I feel like just with a bit of tweaking it could have been like a really good movie, or at least have gotten more recognition than it did. First of all, it feels like it has two openings, kind of three. It has your typical animation opening narration where the animation is also just a different style of the actual movie. I actually did like the style, and basically that opening explains the great Jaeger Clyde and how he's awesome and famous and likes to explore and goes on this expeditions with his son. But every time they show his son Searcher, he's not having a good time. Then the second opening starts. Jaeger and Searcher, which every time I hear Jaeger, both of them did go a little crazy. Jaeger, Searcher, and some others are on a scouting expedition. They're trying to find some resources for the place that they're from because I guess everyone's dying. I don't know. The people of Avalonia, they live a very mediocre pre-electricity life. So everyone almost dies like 5 minutes into the movie, and then they have this emotional argument. However, I'm not attached to these characters at all. Searcher sees some glowing green plants and he thinks that it can help their town, but Jaeger doesn't want to waste the time because he's obsessed with what's on the other side of the mountains. Basically, their entire town is surrounded by enormous, treacherous mountains that no one can leave, so they're all basically stuck there. That's why he was so obsessed with what was on the other side of the mountains. I'd be too if I could not leave this place. So basically, because the father doesn't listen, he kind of leaves the group in frustration, and they try really hard to stop him.
Come back.
Dad, wait.
Jaeger.
Dad!
You can't survive out there alone.
Dad, stop!
Jaeger's like, and I want to go sing what's on the other side of the mountains. I don't care. So he leaves. For 25 years. Yeah, the next opening starts. His father is presumed dead because they haven't seen him in the last 25 years, and they were just like, well, the mountains must have killed him. Noah went to go try to find him. They were just like, he hasn't come back. He said he was going to go, and he just hasn't come back. Well, he did. Searcher is older. He's married. He has a son. He's married to a black woman, and he has a black son. Felt the need to point that. Searcher's son Ethan has a crush on this guy named Diazo. It's not relevant to the plot at all, but good God, do they mention it every single chance they get.
Diazo.
And homie is never seen an entire movie again except for 2 seconds at the very end. The way I rewrote it matters for the plot, okay? So the plants that they excavated are dying, which forces them to explore a new world and find out why they're dying. Ethan sneaks on the ship and Meridian follows them to let them know, and that's kind of how they all meet up. But then they begin to get attacked by these giant pink bat things. Pretty sure this guy dies, by the way. Then they crash land, separating Searcher and the dog Legend from the rest of the group. Searcher gets attacked by a giant creature, but not before he is saved by a mysterious man. This mysterious man turns out to be no one other than Jaeger, his father who disappeared 25 years ago. He basically got trapped in the world. When he was going to search through the mountains, he fell, and he was just like, well, I guess I'm in this world for 25 years. The group believes that they should repair the ship before finding Searcher, but Ethan disagrees and goes off on his own. After falling into a cave, Ethan finds Disney's failed marketable plushie. Ethan is in danger, and Jaeger and Searcher save him. Jaeger constantly outshines Searcher. A lot of argument between Searcher and Jaeger, like really the whole movie, and it kind of got a little tiring. It felt like a constant measuring contest, even though okay, I finally figured it out. I think what bothers me so much about the movie is that, yes, Jaeger leaves, but then he gets trapped. So it's kind of irrelevant. Like, he left in the first place. And the way that he gets trapped is kind of played for laughs.
The ground gave out, and I found this place.
Oh, so you're stuck down here.
And I feel like the gravity of him leaving is not really understood by him, and it's really understood by Searcher. So that's why the arguments between him and Searcher seem so like Searcher is in the wrong and just bitter, because Jaeger never takes accountability for his actions. He's too lighthearted, he's too fun, he's too confident. It makes Searcher feel like the bad person for always starting arguments and always getting mad. It makes him seem like his feelings are invalid. The creature attacks again, and they are saved by the rest of the group. They get back to the mission, and they are trying to revive Pando. On the ship, Ethan, Searcher, and Jaeger play a card game, Primal Outpost, that Ethan and his friends love. Jaeger and Searcher are not playing it correctly, making up their own rules about killing monsters and planting Pando and protecting their farm. But the goal is to live harmoniously with nature and build a civilization.
The objective of Primal Outpost is to live harmoniously with your environment.
I throw masonry stones at it.
And I shoot it with my brand new crossbow.
Congrats, you're dead.
And then there's also, wow, look at this world. Wow, wow. Oh my God, wow. Whoa, what are those things? Whoa, what are those things? As if anyone would know what they are. Oh my God. And then Jaeger's like, don't touch those. Those are dangerous. Those are gonna kill me. Don't. And not gonna lie, every time they were like, oh, wow, what's that? I really wanted to just learn what it was. Like, I don't know if there's a wiki article on it, especially when you find out the twist ending. They get to the dangerous acid cave that Jaeger kept saying that it was impossible to travel through, but now that he has a ship, he can go through it. They're trying to go through, but then these creatures help them out because Black gets them. He's like, but then they get attacked by the tentacle monsters yet again, and Jaeger teaches Searcher how to throw. It is a bit of a cute moment, but feeling a little iffy about that, and I'll tell you why. The two have a bit of a heart-to-heart. Searcher explains why he likes farming because it gives him purpose and builds a legacy. Jaeger explains that he never tried hardest to come home because he's stuck in wanting to explore, but realizes how much he's lost. Mom and Ethan talk, it's boring. The group travel further down to the cave and come across the heart of Pando. They see the creatures that were once battling them are killing themselves to try to attack the heart of Pando. Searcher devises a plan to turn their weapons and Pando dust into a flamethrower crop duster situation, but Ethan is not on board with killing these animals. He comes out to his father about wanting to be explorer and not about that he's gay. They all know that he's gay and they will not shut up about it. Searcher yells at his dad for getting into his son's head and brainwashing him into wanting to be an explorer.
You want to be an explorer?
Hey, is everything all right?
Is this because of him?
No.
What did you say to Ethan?
I didn't say anything.
Dad.
I know you, Ethan. And this isn't you.
And Ethan gets upset and runs away. Searcher and Ethan are arguing because we need more father-son arguing.
You just assume I'll follow in your footsteps, but you never asked me what I wanted.
You're a kid. You don't know what you want.
I know I don't want to be you.
They argue so much that they fly out, and then there's kind of like a moment of silence.
My whole life.
Skip. They travel so far that they are now on the other side of the mountains. It is just sea. And then by the end, actually, we figure out that Pando is actually killing the entire planet that they're on. But then they find out that they're not on a planet at all. They are on a giant turtle. Did you hear me correctly? Yes, they are on a giant turtle in the ocean. And apparently that is the entire Earth. Basically Pangea, but it's a turtle. And don't get me wrong, when I saw this, I was just like, oh, that's not a bad twist. Like, I'm not mad at it because I feel like it opens up a lot of lore, and I feel like a twist like that where everything you're on a living creature and like everything's sort of connected. I like things like that. But yeah, what can I say? Giant turtles are magical or whatever. They discover that all the creatures are the turtle's innards and immune system and cells and whatnot. The Pando is actually wrapped around the heart, so it's not the heart of Pando, it's wrapped around the turtle's heart, killing it. Ethan and Searcher tries to tell the group, but all what Jaeger hears is the other side of the mountains. You said the other side of the mountains. I'm going to go there instead. And so he leaves to see for himself, and the group don't believe them because they're like, bro, what are you talking about? Y'all don't know what y'all saw. And now they're the villains. Not really. I wouldn't call them villains, but they're like, we're doing this to save our city. Y'all are out of your mind. We're going to lock you in the closet. But then they escape within 2 minutes. So like, what was the point of that? Ethan and Searcher go run and try to destroy Pando. The group tries for another 2 minutes to stop Meridian. And then she's like, no, wait, but look at this. And then the lady's like, oh, okay. So their plan is to dig a hole through Pando so that the immune system can like go inside the hole and like destroy Pando from the inside out. Sorry for that visual. So Searcher is trying to stab Pando. It does not work. Jaeger kind of gets like, maybe I should help them because he's very close to the other side of the mountain. He crashes and then he's like, you know what? Maybe I'll go back. And then he helps them. He helps stab Pando. It works. They puncture a hole. The immune system is able to get in and Thanos snap Pando out of existence.
Start? I don't feel so good.
It looks like it didn't work though, but then it did and everybody's happy now. And when they do defeat Pando, it somehow doesn't infect their entire town. Mind you, I mean, I don't know if I made this clear, but Pando was used as basically the means for life for the entire town. Like it was used to power all electricity. It was used in farming, basically everything in that town, and they killed it because it was killing their planet, technically. They never really brush up on that. They're just like, uh-oh, people aren't gonna have hot coffee in the morning.
All right, next stop. No power, cold coffee, and angry masses. Who's ready to go home?
I'm just like, people aren't gonna have showers or light or anything. Like anything. But save the turtle. Ski. But before they leave, they all want to see what's on the other side of these dang on mountains. A year later, Ethan and his friends are clearing the diseased Pando plant. They use one wind turbine thing for the town. So, I mean, they did find something else, but I wish they kind of built up to that. But we'll get into that in a minute. Searcher and Jaeger have a regular farm now. And that's the end of the movie. I do like the concept art at the very end. I will say the art of the movie is very pretty. I mean, the animation itself, I mean, it's pretty like, you know, generic, but I do like the character designs. I do like when the art style switches, and I do like the world, the concept art, the creatures. I think it's a very pretty visual movie to look at. I will say that. I don't have any complaints about how anything looks. Now, again, this is not a bad movie. Even watching it, like, I will say the movie is very funny. Like, I was laughing throughout.
I remember my first crush.
Why are you
She had braces. I did too.
Stop,
and then
please.
one time we got stuck. And it wasn't such a bad thing.
And I think the character dialogue is actually good. I feel like a lot of characters worked well. The chemistry was really good. So there's a lot I actually do like about this movie, but I noticed at the end of it and I was like, all right. Anyway, if I'm not feeling sad, if I'm not feeling motivated, if I'm not feeling happy or just thoughtful, then kind of what was the point of the movie? Movies should make you come in one way and leave a different way. And I felt neutral leaving this movie. Even stupid spoof comedy movies, you leave the movie laughing. Basically, when you're writing a script, you have to think about how do you want people to feel or what do you want them to think. And I think it was very hard to understand what the movie wanted to do for that. For my rewrite, I made each individual character learn how to get over their anxieties by trusting other people. Family is the core of this movie, but I feel like they should have showed the anxiety and the hurt a little bit more in the script and how they overcame it at the end. It felt a little too happy in a way. Like, I didn't think the happiness at the end was built up well throughout the movie. As for Searcher and his father, Jaeger, it's such a generic father-son relationship, you know.
My son is weak and won't follow my adventurous footsteps.
And
My dad doesn't understand me, and he's too stupid to see where I'm coming from. I want to live my own life, Dad, okay? My life isn't
Yours.
this dynamic happens twice. And I'm not saying generational trauma isn't a thing, and I'm not saying like people don't grow up to be like their parents, but it's so interesting to see that happen twice. Like, I feel like if it worked as a TV show and we saw Searcher a little bit younger in the first half of the season or the first season, and he grew up, had kids, his father left mysteriously, and then it's the same dynamic. I feel like that would have been a little bit better, because like you can see Searcher and his father and you can really have that relationship, but you can also have Searcher and Ethan and really have that relationship instead of this whole grandfather father son thing, because they also try to make a relationship between the grandfather and Ethan, and it's just really, it's a lot. So okay, when I say it's a lot, I mean it should have the proper amount of time to really tell the story without it dragging on, which I feel like it would work better as a TV show, because you can have some time to explore each creature, explore this world, and it can be like a 1-season show, by the way, or 2 seasons max. Honestly, if you want to see that dynamic done well, watch How to Train Your Dragon. It's so good. And even though that dynamic is typically, you know, cliche, it can be done well. It actually shows the struggle in wanting to love your child or your parent, but you're just struggling constantly because you don't understand each other. Because of who you are, it's really hard to connect. The scene where Hiccup finally makes his dad proud and he sits him down and he's like, okay, now tell me everything. And it's just silent. It's so good. So good.
With you doing so well in the ring, we finally have something to talk about. What? Oh.
Hi. Hello. It's a new day. It's actually 2 days later. I don't know if I put it in the edit, but I ended up going to the movies. And yesterday I didn't get the opportunity to film because today I ended up having my driver's test and your girl passed, baby! First try!
Nice shot!
Aren't you 22? Shut up. No one asked. Okay. Better late than never, you know? Okay. Thank you. Now I will be entering my own strange world of driving. Okay, anyway. Oh, I'm in a new location, by the way, and this TV is important. So, before I get into the rewrite, I wanted to talk a little bit about this. You see that? That says deleted scenes. So, remember how I was talking about I wish we got to learn more about the creatures? That's what this is. So, it's a bonus on Disney Plus, creature feature, and it explains the creatures, and they're pretty cool. But now I want to talk about the deleted scenes. Oh my god, I wish they put these in the movie. It's so interesting how these deleted scenes would have either made the movie better or would have made the movie a great TV show instead. The first one, this one, Funerals and Promises, is basically about Searcher actually being sad that his dad died. As I said, he's presumed dead. No one saw him die, but he chose to leave. And they never really dive into how Searcher feels about that. It's just nice to see Searcher actually feeling something because his dad left and is presumed dead. It was like a year later and they were like, well, he hasn't returned, so must be dead. The second one, Lightning Licks. And I feel like this is where it would have been a great TV show instead. I'm gonna go to it. It would have been a great TV show instead because it talks a little bit about how Meridia feels about flying, because in the movie she just loves flying, she's a pilot, but originally she was like a stunt performer, like a stunt flyer, and she actually almost died when she was performing, and that made her extremely scared to ever fly again. So then when she has to go on this expedition and like there's times where like, oh, like she has to fly to save everyone, it was supposed to be a lot scarier for her, but she overcomes that fear. And I feel like that would have been great. I do understand why they cut it from the movie, because they said it in here, they said it just wasn't enough runtime. But I feel like having something like that, like even a small little character arc for her, it would have really made me appreciate her as a character more and really show how everyone is really conquering their fears in different ways. Next one, Searcher and Ethan. If anything, this is probably the most similar to what's in the movie. It's a heart-to-heart about how Jaeger was a bad dad. Searcher is explaining to Ethan why he doesn't talk about his father. And he's saying like, oh, like everyone thinks that he was like this amazing explorer, but to me, he was just a bad dad. I feel like that's a nice scene. And then this last one, The Ballad of Jaeger, and it basically talks about how Jaeger actually adventured on his own. Searcher was still very into plants, and he was like, Dad, oh my god, look at this plant. And then like Jaeger's like,
I don't have time for plants. I need to be exploring right now.
And it was showing like, oh, he like always leaves his family, but this time on the expedition he leaves and his family is waiting and waiting and waiting, and he just never returns. And then Searcher ends up vowing that he'll never be like his father, like,
I'll never abandon my son.
which is probably why he tries to be extremely close to his son. Not gonna lie, I do like the rewrite a little bit better, but I feel like something like this still works in showing like how Jaeger is just so obsessed with these mountains that he's willing to abandon his family and just not spend time with his family. Yeah, but these are the deleted scenes. Very, very interesting.
An example of a story trying many different versions, and ultimately we decided it would be better if
it was not better. So I did write a couple of scenes. I wrote some dialogue. I'm changing up the characters just slightly so that the motivations feel a little bit more personable. I do think overall the characters are good, but I felt like if they were written just in a bit of a different way, I felt like they could have been more relatable as well, because I feel like a lot of their relatability was very surface level. So these are going to be my rewrites now. I'm really hoping I don't get copyright claimed by having the entire movie play behind. The movie starts off in a fun style, but talks about how Jaeger, his father, and his father's father were all explorers, but they never got to explore the other side of the mountains. So I'm thinking in the beginning, instead of Jaeger leaving on his own free will, because he's also presumed dead, I'm thinking that he falls to his death and Searcher believes that it's his fault. It's a little dark. I feel like it puts a little bit more gravity and a little bit more resentment towards exploring. There's a moment when Searcher is in danger because he yelps and then icicles fall, but nothing really happens. So I'm thinking, let that be the stake. Jaeger's like, no, what the fuck is this? No, I want to go see what's on the other side of the mountains. That was the plan. But then Ethan's like, no, but this is what we kind of need. And everyone's like, yeah, this is why put ourselves in danger. Jaeger starts to walk away, but then they actually try, like, okay, no, wait, come back. I have to, son. And he's like, Dad! When Searcher yells, that's when the icicles fall. And that's when Jaeger goes to save Searcher. And then Jaeger falls to his death, presumably. And then Searcher's like, oh my God, what did I just do? And then everyone's just like, no, it's not your fault. He kept walking. We told him to turn back. Let's just get to the town. Searcher hates exploring. He's not very physically active, but he is a great farmer. The way he could be rewritten is that he is a good explorer because his father was an explorer. He is good at it. It's not something he really wants to do. Kind of like farming with Ethan. He's good at it, but it's something that he doesn't want to do. But with Searcher, he begins to develop a fear of exploring because he thinks he gets his father killed. And he's like, all right, we're done exploring. We're no longer trying to go for these mountains. We found this pando plant. Let's just use this because this is ridiculous. I'm not putting anyone in danger. So he thought it was something that was cool at first, but then he found the danger in it. And now planting, he feels like he can still help people, but it's safer as well. Yeah. So I feel like that should be the opening. And because of that, he becomes extremely overprotective of his son, and he only allows him to live a very simple and safe life as a farmer. Ethan, he's a quirky black boy. We love it to see it. But I do want him to be a little bit more reserved and quiet around his father. I do like the relationship that they have. I think there's a way to write it to where Ethan loves his father, he respects his father, he gets along with his father, but he feels like he can't be his true authentic self. And I feel like if they had a scene where Ethan is like maybe 75% of himself, but then when he's with his group of friends, he is 100% of himself. Even around his mom, he's like 95%. Because they kind of do it a little bit, but I'm like, I wish they played it up. Ethan didn't get to camp out with his friends, but I wish it was a little bit like Searcher was like, oh, I'm like, no, like this is gonna be so much fun and stuff. And Ethan's like, oh, okay, Dad. And like he has a good time, but then he's just like, dang, I just wish I said no. So like they can get along, but then Ethan can still have a little bit of hesitation there. He doesn't want to explore anymore, but then when the plants are dying, he's forced to explore. And his curious son sneaks along. But before he goes, wifey talks him down because he's having an anxiety attack about exploring. She's like, hey babe, I know you're scared to go. I know what happened last time, but I just want you to know it's not going to happen again. It was not your fault. It's okay. And he's like, Thanks, babe. She suggests that she can go along with him, but he's like, no, you're still afraid of flying, and I want to keep you both safe. I want to keep you and our son safe, so just don't come. Ethan busts in and he's like, I'm coming too. And then Searcher is like, hell no. And Ethan's like, but daddy, please. Then like he's like, all right, look, I love you, I understand, but no, last time this happened, my father got killed. You cannot go exploring. It's too big for you. You're just a kid. That would come back in later because he calls Ethan just a kid, like in their climactical blow up at each other.
You're a kid. You don't know what you want.
And he sneaks there anyway. So that's when Ethan sneaks into the plane and his wife has to follow him. The group gets separated. And I'm going to have the separation just last a little bit longer so we can get Searcher and Jaeger together again. I'm going to flip the reactions here. When Searcher sees Jaeger, Jaeger gets excited to see his son exploring and just another person in general. But Searcher sees him and thinks that it is the ghost of his father haunting him because he's exploring. But I think this could be play for last too. Like he's just like, it is I, the great Jaeger. Dad? Searcher, my boy. You are exploring. How have you been? Do you like my voice acting, by the way? Does this place give you hallucinations too? Are you the ghost of my dead father come back to haunt me because I'm exploring again? Ghost? I'm the real deal, soldier.
This is incredible.
I was thinking the same. Oh.
Yeah.
When Searcher and Jaeger do find each other, it's very awkward, like they're strangers. Searcher is afraid of his father because he thinks he blames him for his disappearance. And Jaeger sees a shell of his son, scared and insecure. There could be a fear and hostility between both of them. But like I said, we're going to make Searcher good at exploring and good at like the physical things. He just chooses not to do that because he has all this built up rage and anger and resentment and fear. And throughout the movie, they still go on these adventures. Even though Searcher is scared, he tries desperately to save his son. There's a moment where Searcher performs a saving maneuver that Jaeger pulled, and Jaeger smiles warmly at him. So instead of Jaeger showing off in front of Ethan, I'm going to switch that to Searcher. That was quite the save back there. Dad, my son. Dad, stop. Okay, Dad, my son almost died, but he didn't. For a moment, Searcher wants to be proud of himself. He looks at his son, then brushes it off. But then Ethan's like, oh my God, Dad, that was so cool. You have to show me that. Searcher's like, what? Are you crazy? You almost died. I'm not showing you that. No, let's pray you never have to do this. What? You know what? No, I'll show him. You should absolutely show your son things. And then he's like, oh, don't tell me how to parent my child. He's out here in the wilderness on his own. He can't defend himself. What have I taught you? It doesn't matter. I still put him in danger. But Dad, I'm fine. No, because it could have been just like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Let's just get to where we need to go. So then I feel like that can kind of build the animosity between the three generations. And then that can build up the relationship between Ethan and Jaeger as well. Yeah, I'm going to learn from Grandpa, actually. Yeah. The whole point of the movie is to show just how similar Jaeger and Searcher really are, which is nice, but it can also highlight their differences and how those are also good. Really how these two characters are yin and yang, like they are very similar but very different, and they balance each other out very well. They both have similar qualities, but they also have differences that make them strong. And I feel like those need to be highlighted as well. As the movie progresses, the three bond, fight, yada, yada, yada is literally what I wrote. Before the climax, Searcher can learn to accept that he made a mistake, but can forgive himself and accept that his father is proud. Throughout the entire movie, even though Jaeger, he had this idea that his son was a coward, but he really sees that his son has grown to be a strong and devoted father and a strong man that he can be proud of. And I think something like that is important, especially because these two hadn't spoken to each other in 25 years. So they both have these very specific ideas of each other. And maybe along the way, Searcher ends up finding out like maybe his father actually does value his family because he hasn't seen them in 25 years. And Jaeger learns to like love his family and really be there because no measure of time is enough to be with the ones we love. And that's the lesson that he learns. And Searcher learns that it's okay that we make mistakes, but we also have to learn to forgive ourselves and others. And we can't choose the actions that other people make. Basically, after this heart-to-heart, this is how I expect for Searcher to find out that Jaeger never even tried to come home.
What happened to you? When you were younger, all you ever talked about was exploring. When you were finally old enough... Yeah, and the one time I go on a real expedition is when... After that day, I stopped exploring. I thought you died, Dad, and I blame myself for every single minute of it. I have a son that you're just now meeting, and even Mom moved on and remarried, and all of that could have been avoided if it wasn't for me. I'm so sorry. Yes, things might have turned out differently, and I've lost 25 years with my family I can never get back. But I was also able to explore this amazing new world with the most fascinating creatures. So, think what you want, but you gave me this opportunity. And hey, we're together now, right? Let's make up for lost time. And besides, it's not like I tried that hard to come home. What do you mean you didn't try that hard to come back home? Well, there were a couple of ways out, but I mean, come on, look at this world. You mean you could have come home? Of course I wanted to, but no. You chose to stay here? Did you ever think about how Mom felt, how I felt? I thought you died, Dad. We all did. And you, well, it's not like that's completely my fault. You knew that was an accident. Did you think I wanted that to happen? I'm not saying that, Searcher. Listen, son. No. Don't call me that. There's no need to say anything else. I already know what you care about. Not me, not Mom, and not your home. Just those stupid mountains. So that is the argument between the two that I envision. This would be before the climax, before Searcher gets mad at Ethan for wanting to explore, and he's already mad at his dad. So I think that would build up and have him start yelling at Ethan even though he's mad at his father. And I think it will also hit harder for when Jaeger finally has the chance to go see the mountains, and then he finally chooses his family above the mountains.
You want to be an explorer?
Hey, is everything all right?
Is this because of him? What did you say to Ethan?
It's not Grandpa's fault.
Are you trying to brainwash my son? The only thing he cares about is himself and conquering those mountains.
I get the argumentative side from Searcher, but Jaeger doesn't really make any sense. Because you chose to leave your family. You can't be mad at Searcher for not wanting to go with you. And like, yes, he did get stuck. Maybe you deserve to get stuck. Like, you chose to leave and you got trapped. You should have never left, you know? I had the option to come back and I chose not to. I feel like that would hit harder. What? Did you even want to come home in the first place? Having it start out as fear, and then, you know, Jaeger is still this confident person, but harboring the secret of never even attempting to come home or knowing a way out and never coming back. All of that fear can turn into anger, and then Searcher's feelings and his fears feel a lot more valid instead of just him feeling bitter throughout the entire movie. And Jaeger gets humbled, and then that can be the conclusion in them, you know, coming together and understanding each other and apologizing to each other and forgiving themselves. Continuing on with everything else up in the movie is fine, and this is the Ethan running away scene. I feel like the blow up was not earned. Ethan only feels frustrated with the farm stuff in the very beginning when he has a chore that he has to do and his friends camped out to get trading cards that he missed out on. There needs to be different moments where Ethan wants to bond with his dad, but he only wants to do it when it corresponds with farming. His dad is a lot kinder and gentler than Jaeger, but still doesn't listen. Instead of saying, "I know you, Ethan, this isn't you," I kind of would rewrite it just a little bit. "I've known you your whole life, and he's known you for 2 days. Be reasonable. This isn't you."
Ethan, come back here. Ethan, are you crazy? Hey, get on this skiff now.
Leave me alone.
What has gotten into you? I didn't raise you like this. Right, you raised me to be something I never wanted to be. To just blindly follow in your footsteps? I never had a choice. You're just a kid. You're too young to make that kind of choice. To know exactly what you want.
I know I don't want to be you.
And even though I want to explore, I don't want to be grandpa either. I love this family, but I love exploring too. If anything, I'm more like him. But you're smart, passionate, and resourceful. The signs of a true explorer. Then Searcher says all the stuff, and then they're like, oh my god, God is a guy. Dad is a giant eyeball. When the climax happens, it can stay relatively the same, allowing for Searcher and Ethan to bond this time. I like the twist that the things attacking them are actually white blood cells, but I do wish Pando was sentient. Because the thing is, have you guys seen Osmosis Jones? Do you remember how in Osmosis Jones, the virus was like this character and he was pretty scary and intimidating and he was just like killing the body from the inside out? I wish Panda was a little bit more like that because it always shocked people. So I wish it was another amazing creature design like how the rest of the movie had. Maybe I'll like do like a little creature design. I'm not very good at creature design, but I think something like characterizing the Pando to make it feel more like a villain, more like a virus attacking its hosts. I think something like that would have the climax be a little bit more interesting than them just stabbing the Pando and it just works. If it started attacking the ship and other people, I think that you don't have to have a villain to have a good story.
And no bad guys? What kind of game has no bad guys?
That's just poor storytelling.
But Pando kind of is a villain, so why not just go all out? Especially because every other thing in this world is alive. That could have been something like that they tried to battle and actually, fought. And while they're fighting, trying to distract it, I feel like that's when everyone could kind of like, oh, let's all work together. Let's use up all our skills. Let's use our wind power. Let's use our farming knowledge. Let's use our exploration power. Like, let's use all our skills together to defeat this thing. And then that's when like the immune system can kind of swoop in and defeat Pando.
Actually, I'd like to make one stop for my dad.
Excuse my voice acting. It still hasn't got better in the past 3 years. You were right. I am selfish. There were times where maybe I should have motivated myself to leave. One more day turned into one more month, turned into one more year until I lost track of time. I don't know. Maybe I don't have a good enough excuse. Yeah, no kidding. Listen, Searcher. Exploring has always been my first love. It's who I am, and I can't change that. I thought this world and getting to the other side of the mountains would be the thing that makes me happy. But for the past 2 days, getting to know you, your wife, and that headstrong son of yours reminds me of someone. I realized that I've missed so much. 2 days of exploring with you was far more fun than 25 years by myself down here. It was. Sometimes it's not just what you do that gives life meaning. It's who you do it with. I've messed up my own life and yours, chasing what I thought my purpose was. And now you hate me for it, which I deserve. I'm so sorry, Searcher. I don't hate you, believe it or not. I'm a lousy excuse for a husband, father, and grandfather. That part is true, but look, I think it's important to go after what you want in life. And what I'm doing with my own farm, I love it. But I also do it to help people, build a legacy that's bigger than me, for my son. And now that whole legacy is gone. I don't know what I'll do now, but if I learned anything from you, it's how to thrive and survive. It's not what you want or even how you get it. It's what you choose to do with it after. After, huh? So that's at the end of the scene. I feel like that scene when they see the giant eyeball would be, a heartfelt moment between them. The arguing in the beginning and like Searcher finding out that his father left and never tried to come back. I feel like that would have made a much more impactful moment where Jaeger has the option to keep going to see the other side of the mountains or stay back and fight with Searcher. So That's that scene. So before I get into the very end, I need to talk about Ethan and the whole reason why this movie was not promoted in the first place. The controversial gayness of this movie. We need to talk about it. And it's gonna be important to the plot.
His father approves. Jaeger gives him advice about how to talk to and impress him. His mom sees how far he's come, and nothing freaking happens from it. At least not on screen.
Mind you, Diaz had like maybe 3 lines. He's talked about more than he's actually in the movie.
Hey, Diazo.
Diazo seems cool.
Hey, Diazo. Diazo. His name is Diazo.
Diazo, huh?
If only Diazo could see you now.
And that's really frustrating because Diazo only speaks in the beginning of the movie, mind you. And towards the end, or at the very end, they are just together. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm all for this relationship, but it gotta be better. I like how awkward Ethan is, but I wish we got to know more about why he even likes Diazo. Like, yeah, he's cool, but like that can't be the only reason why you like him. I like him because he's so cool. No, it's not a reason. At least it shouldn't be. Yeah, you're a teenager, but can you give me something? Like more? Can you give me more? And why does Diazo like you? Like, we like you, but we need to see why he likes you. We need to see why you like him. If you guys seen Onward, there was a moment in the beginning of the movie where Tom Holland's character liked this girl and he was talking to her. He was nervous, and I think the brother interrupted. Mind you, I've only seen the movie once. I remember thinking, oh, he's going to get together in the end with this girl. And she never comes up again. But he never talks about her either. Like, he never asks his brother for advice about talking to girls or anything. It's just like, he just kind of forgot about her. Well, why have the girl in the movie in the first place if he's not going to become confident in the end and ask her out? That's what I mean. And that's what I felt like we were lacking for Ethan, because he's talking about, oh, Diazo this, oh, Diazo that. And then just in the end, they're together off screen, or they get together off screen. And the way that they show them together is like him putting a hand over his shoulder, and then that's it. Throughout the movie, he talks about how he likes him, but he tenses up and he gets anxious when he's around, which fair. That's how most people are when they have a crush. He also constantly struggles in telling his dad that he doesn't want to follow in his father's footsteps and become a farmer, until it gets too much for him and he yells at his dad for it. So throughout the entire movie, he does stutter and he does get scared a lot, and he gets frustrated too. He could have been very timid in telling his father and his grandfather, like, this isn't how you play the game. If it was just like, oh, I mean, yeah, I guess you can do it. Like, and then until like he gets so frustrated, he yells at them and they're just like, whoa. Because that's something that happens to people. Like, when you hold something in for so long, it boils up and you get to a tipping point and then you just yell. And then you become like this other person, and people are just like, where did that come from? That's because you never spoke up. Some kind of an arc for Ethan like that could have been interesting, to see him constantly be timid and constantly be scared to speak his mind and just doesn't want to disappoint anyone, doesn't want to embarrass himself, until he gets to this boiling point where he just can't do it anymore because he's finally doing something that he loves with his father and his grandfather, but they're still not getting it. And he's just like, I can't do this anymore. And he yells at them. It would have been nice to see Ethan gain confidence and tell Diazo how he felt. Yeah, I just think it would have been a nice character moment to really show how confident Ethan really has gotten with saying how he feels. And I wrote the scene, yes. His friends see him after several days. Then he sees Diazo. Instead of him freezing and stuttering like he did in the beginning of the movie, he breathes in and walks up to Diazo with confidence. Diazo! Ah! Oh, sorry. It's okay, you just surprised me. It's different. Yep, a lot has happened over the past few days. Anyway, I really like you, and I was wondering if you'd like to go out sometimes? Diazo is stunned at Ethan's confidence. Is that a no? Yes. Ah, the one time I listened to my dad. I mean, no. I mean, it's not a no, it's a yes. I thought I'd be the one to ask you out, so it's a date. I think that would have been a nice flip of characters and make Diazo the shy and stuttering one, but they're both awkward at the end of the day because they're both just like, oh my god, I like you too, stop, oh my god, let's go out, oh my god, stop. Yeah, so I feel like flipping how they interacted in the beginning of the movie, something like that could have been a nice character moment and really also ground Diazo and show him that even though he's not as cool as Ethan thought, he's still super awkward, but he likes him all the same. 1 year later, Ethan is exploring while Searcher is attending to his new farm. He finds another power supply. He creates windmills with his wife. With the laws of aviation, use the power of the wind from the mountains because they're so windy. In the note, Ethan expresses how excited he is for his dad to come along with them this fall because now Searcher is comfortable with exploring. And that is the end of the movie and the end of the rewrite. So, a conclusion, because I've been recording for a long time. Do I think this is an Oscar-worthy rewrite? No. There's probably some people that disagree with my changes anyway. Some people might really love this movie, and that's fine. I just wrote something that catered a little bit more to me and might cater to a little bit more people. And instead of complaining about everything about the movie, actually try to give it some critique. I think with these changes and a little bit more advertising, it could have had the impact that they were looking for. Again, I do not think that this is a bad movie by a long shot. For starters, I think the movie is very funny. I love how the character dialogue is written and the character chemistry is genuinely good. There were some times where the shots were really beautiful, really thought out. Even though Disney sort of has the style, especially with big nose boys, it was still nice to just see diverse characters and like fun animation. You can tell there were some like 2D inspirational elements behind the 3D models. But again, a lot of people think that this movie is also average. It has a 72% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is a C average, and a 5.7 on IMDb. But I feel like the movie could have been so much more. And it's frustrating because it's like it has another first openly gay character for Disney. It has body diversity, racial diversity. Like the characters, I genuinely think the characters are just stunning to look at. I just love seeing especially Black characters on screen, other characters of other races. It was like right there. And I think that's what's frustrating. It didn't have to be a tearjerker like Big Hero 6 or social commentary like WALL-E, but with such a dynamic concept of our world is so much smaller and bigger than we thought it was, but family is at its core. I feel like it could have been a little bit more, kind of like how Encanto at the end of the day it was about family, or even like Meet the Robinsons. It could have tugged on our heartstrings a little bit, and I don't think it ever really did. It should also be noted that this movie was not nominated for an Oscar, and while yes, it is not a right for Disney, it is a rarity. It actually didn't receive any rewards, just a couple of nominations, which again is very rare for a Disney movie. And I'm not saying that rewards and nominations equate to a good movie. There are plenty of great movies that never get any of that type of recognition. Considering how big Disney is and how much money went into this film, it didn't turn a profit at all. It also sucks when you work on something for so many years and then the company doesn't promote it and then y'all lose money. Think about all the hard work the animators, the writers, the directors, voice actors, everyone put into this movie, and then just for it to be a flop because there's a gay character, that's awful. Like, it's just sad to see that all these people worked hard on it and it was just swept under the rug by Disney. It felt like there was a lot of limitations in the script and in the process. I don't want to say it's a forgettable movie, but I feel like I would have never thought about this movie again if I was not writing this video. I don't know a single person who would be like, hey, do you want to watch Strange World? What are you talking about? No, I don't want to watch like, it's not like Strange World, but it's like, it's not even like a bad movie where you can laugh at. I mean, if you're like, would you rather watch Strange World, the Emoji Movie? There's no contest. No, I'm just kidding. That video will come soon, don't worry. The directors for this movie are Keen Yogan, I don't know if I said that correctly, and Don Hall. Don Hall worked on some pretty notable Disney projects, a couple of which are my favorite and that I've mentioned throughout this video. Ki Nguyen, however, is also listed as the sole writer. He was also one of the writers for Raya and the Last Dragon, a movie that has a similar feeling that I do with Strange World, where I didn't really feel much, but it had so much great world building and depth that I felt like it just missed the mark because these two movies came out within a year of each other. So it makes me wonder if Key was just stretched a little bit too thin and he had to write two movies that glorified different bodies, different nationalities and races, and such a broad concept in a very new type of world that it was just maybe, I don't want to say too much for him, but I love the concept for Raya and I love the concept for this, but I felt like it was just almost there for me. But even with that, I still do think Raya is the better movie personally, even though I have not seen it since it came out, and Awkwafina's voice is still annoying. And Disney dropped the ball on them. I'm blaming everything on Disney. I don't work for Disney. I do not know the limitations, but I feel like the rewrites that I did could have worked for Disney. I don't know what went on in the writer's room. It's just disappointing to see, especially with Ethan and his character. I know I just spent this entire time, you know, rewriting the movie. That's because I really feel like the premise of this movie and the heart of this movie could have been something really special and just another way to show, you know, generational trauma, to show how you can become confident, to show how it's okay to have different dreams than other people as long as you're supportive and as long as you know who you are. Like, that's prime Disney, and they really neglected this film, and I feel like that's really sad. There's still amazing content that's coming out of Disney, and those things also still break a lot of new things for Disney. You know, Luisa's character design alone, Lumini. Don't say, oh, we're having more diversity and it's not promoted. People will always hate whatever you do. So you might as well do what you love. So that's for Disney, that's for the executives, that's for the people that's animating it, that's people that's writing it, and that's for you too. So why not just take the risk and just put it out? So those are all my thoughts. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure to give it a big old thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Please leave in the comments below what you thought of the rewrite, what you would personally rewrite for this movie. And if you think I should do more movies, I definitely will want to do movies that are like actually bad. Again, I don't think this movie is bad. I just had a couple of notes on how the flow should have went a little bit more and how the characters should have been written. This is also a little bit experimental for me. So if you guys like this and like this editing style and like me switching locations, let me know if me rewriting movies is something that you guys are interested in, because I feel like it helps me as a writer and it helps me be a little bit more critical instead of just, you know, making fun of movies. Or if this is something that I should never do again, let me know. And tell me what you like about the movie as well. If you have seen the movie, feel free to disagree. Say, I don't think I'll write it that way. I'm fine listening to that because one, it's not my movie at the end of the day, but I think it's important to listen to critique. Those are all my thoughts. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Thanks again so much for watching, and I will see you nerds next time. Bye. This movie, cool, could have been better.